Hello everyone, welcome back. I brought in this large Chinese elm for another pruning. It's starting to get a few long wispy bits now, shooting out everywhere, so we'll just give it a tidy up, prune it back in. Next spring I'm going to try and remember to repot this. Its roots are over these rocks that I've cemented together, but like these two, I can maybe separate them if I can, maybe force that one in more and have crossing one here. Maybe I can bring this one out around here or something, but maybe just redo it over the rock again, adjusting where I want to put the roots. And I think it was a bit of a kind of a rush job when I got it, to get it on the rocks because the roots were so bad. Just had them huge big long roots. Okay, so yeah, so it's been on these rocks for a couple of years now in this pot, so it's probably due a repot. I wouldn't say it's pot bound or anything, but definitely now it's got its strength up, I can maybe look at doing a bit of work with the roots. Okay, so first thing thorn in it, I'm going to do is just go around the tree as always and just start tidying up a bit. I've just been kind of going through my Chinese elms now for the winter. This will probably be the last pruning this year. Whatever grows then after this, I'll probably leave until next year. I want to kind of get them done now, so they've still got time to get a bit of growth on before the winter comes. Because, like I said before, all my Chinese elms stay outside for the winter, and they seem to do okay. Some lose the leaves, others don't. Not sure why that is, but that's what happens with mine anyway. Anyone that's been watching my videos, I did some videos recently of some Chinese elms that I got just in a shopping centre. They were looking pretty bad. All the other ones on the shelves dead or nearly dead, so I just rescued a couple and I planted them on rocks, and they were indoor trees growing indoors, so I was kind of fully expecting what they normally do when you transition them to outdoors, is they lose all their leaves, or most of the leaves, and then they start growing outdoor leaves. So the first one I did, that one was the kind of worst, but the two of them are come back. I'll do an update on them. I'll show you them after this, and we'll have a look at them when I finish working on this tree. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of going around getting the tree back into some sort of order, pruning everything to an outward facing leaf in a direction I want it to grow. Anything growing up, getting rid of that. Anything growing down, and we just kind of have a look at maybe trying to improve some of the pads once I have it pruned off. We'll just get it all pruned first, and then we'll have a look at the pads once it's all back into shape. We're having some real weird weather at the moment. Really heavy rains again last night and this morning, and now it's really hot again, sunshine. So the trees are probably loving it. But my barrels are all full of water again, so that's good. So this is the back of the tree. I put a little bit of like putty cement stuff there, just to kind of lodge it in and stick it in until it's tuck, until the roots tuck, and it held in. That seemed to work fine. Held it until it was sturdy enough by itself. I'll probably bring the camera a little bit closer maybe. So anybody that hasn't seen this tree before, when I got this tree, it was growing on the top shelf in a garden centre indoors. It was right up on a top high shelf, and the roots were hanging out. They were coming out apart. It was in an awful state. There was very little growth on the top, just a few branches which were just really long with half a dozen leaves on them. So over the last few years I brought it home. I chopped the top off because I had a kind of weird top. Chopped the top off, and I just had a couple of branches. I wired them into some sort of shape, and then chopped everything off and just regrew it and started creating the pads and stuff. I cemented these rocks together. I just dyed the cement the same colour as the rocks, and there's 3 rocks there, and I just cemented one on top of the other, and there was nothing else really I could do with the roots that I could think of really. They were so long, so ugly, so I just decided to plant them and then make a planting like this, so at least the roots have a reason for being so long and ugly. I didn't want to risk chopping them all off because the top was so weak and so bad. And like that, when I did all that work, what little leaves I did have died off, or dropped off, because it went from being an indoor tree to an outdoor tree. And gradually, slowly but surely, we've built it into the tree it is today. And as you can see now, it's got really nice tight pads, small leaves, very, very short internodes between the leaves. The longer you leave the branches, the bigger the internodes start to get. Although they're not too bad, even on the longer branches. But when I got it, the branches were so long, the leaves were about that far apart. I think I have a bit of a weakness for these Chinese elms. Maybe it's because you don't really see many other trees, bonsai trees for sale here, and the ones you do see are like this, and they're not really looked after properly. People in the stores don't really know what they're doing with them. They just get them and put them on the shelf, put them for sale. The soil is terrible stuff they come in, and most of the time they don't make it. Even when people buy them, I've talked to quite a few people that have bought them, and they said they just die on them. They can't understand it, but it's not so much the people's fault, more the condition the tree is in. And if they don't know what to do with it when they do buy it, they just think they just keep watering it, leaving it in the really poor soil, and never trimming it back. They're afraid to trim it, and then the tree just keeps getting weaker and weaker. So if you get one of these, one of these stalls or garden centres, Chinese elm, don't be afraid to prune it, because as you see, the more you prune it, the tighter and stronger the foliage gets and thicker, and you can see works for me anyway. You just got to be brave, prune them back, and just keep on top of the pruning. I do. Some people like to leave them grow long branches and then prune them back, which probably works too. It's just not the way I do it for these, because I don't want big, thick, heavy branches. And if you keep growing them long and then chopping them back, you end up with fat, stubby branches. So I'm trying to keep mine as refined as I can, and the foliage pads as tight and as full. So that's why I keep on top of the pruning of them. If I see them see them get weak, then maybe I wouldn't prune them. I'd just let them grow on a bit. There's one of mine, I wouldn't say it's weak, but it's not as strong as some of them, these. So I haven't really pruned it, but to be honest, what happens is if they're not strong, they don't grow as long and as thick, and so you don't need to prune them. You can kind of just leave them, and eventually they will grow strong again. And just keep them watered and fed and all that kind of stuff. Okay, we're getting kind of close now to having it all pruned back into shape. Taking up all these growing tips. There's a couple more up here, and then what I'm going to do is go into each pad and see, can I maybe break it up a little bit, especially up the top here. It's getting very thick. Okay, that looks pretty neat now again. We've got a nice neat structure again on it. So now what I want to do is just kind of separate the pads if I can. So instead of having all this here, like this is one solid pad, I'm going to go inside and try and create some separation between one pad and the next. So I get a pad like that, and then I will just clean off around here. Just take that tip off and like that. Don't be afraid to do it, because in a couple of weeks it'll be all joined back up again. So I don't know if you can tell now the difference there. I've got one little pad here, one little pad here, and now again I'll just go in working on, if you get your fingers in between them and just clean out all in between. I think it just gives it more of a miniature look. There's a lot of branches growing in different directions and crossing over and stuff. So okay, so you can see now, hopefully. So 1, 2, 3. Now we'll do this one again. Separate her up. Don't worry if it kind of looks a little bit pompony, kind of, because once it starts shooting out, it'll get rid of that kind of too neat of a look kind of thing. You don't want it too neat, but it doesn't stay neat for too long. All you're doing is creating some gaps between them, letting a bit of light through, and then when the light shines through the tree you can see the branch structure and stuff. It looks a lot better, or more kind of miniature and natural looking. So again, same here. I'll just put my fingers under it and I'll just trim it back so that it's got a gap between this one and the next one, which is this one, with some branches going back this way, so we'll take them out. Again, fingers in and take off that long bit. I'm not being overly cautious about if I cut a leaf in half or anything like that. You don't have to worry about that kind of thing. They all grow back. And you chop it in half, you might get a bit of browning and stuff, but they just drop off and you get new ones. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell the difference there. I lift the camera up, but you can see here you've got different small little pads instead of one big clump going across. It's all broken up. You can see the branch structure a lot better. So what I'll do is I'll just go through the tree and I'll do that. You see this pad looks like one big giant pad. We'll break it up into lots of little pads and then we'll come back and we'll have a look at it. Okay, we're slowly but surely getting there. And just keeping on trying to separate the pads as best I can, creating gaps, negative space in between them. And that way then you get the light through and it just gives a more miniature look to it. You can see the branch structure better. This is the back now I'm just working on here. Branch coming right up there, I'll get rid of that one. Okay, I think we're pretty good. Trying to get into this top here. Just take out any bits in the inside that are kind of blocking the light. I think we're looking quite good now. So I would say, like I said, this is tree's last pruning this year. I'll just let it grow now, ready for winter. and then it'll be all ready for repotting hopefully next spring. Like I said, we'll do a bit of work on the roots, trying to get them back into better positions than what they are. And I'll just bring the camera back now. Okay, so there it is now, all pruned up. I like it. I think it looks really good tree for having like that growing up on a mountain or something. A bit of a cliff sticking out. I brought in the other two just for an update. This is the second one I did. This one I repotted. This one I put in the shade on the ground, and you can see didn't really lose, lost a few leaves, but other than that it's okay. It's up now in the sun, not full sun all day, but it's getting a bit of sun on it, so it should be growing pretty good. And next year like that we'll lift it out this pot, put it in a better pot and show a lot more of the roots. And the other one, the first one I did, this one had a really bad root base on it, twisty kind of one. You see I had to put it on the rock, kind of like it was growing around here. This big root maybe will go one day, I don't know, but this one did lose its leaves, a lot of its leaves, most of its leaves in fact. But as you can see now, there's tons of little tiny ones now, outdoor leaves growing. These are the old few indoor leaves that are left, but it practically lost all its leaves, but they're all regrowing, so as you can see it's going to do okay, it's going to survive, I'd say. And again, we'll just work on them. I won't do any styling as such with them yet, but I'm hoping to eventually have this one kind of padding out, and so the tree is kind of more here, and that one we'll figure out what we're going to do with that one as well. And yeah, so we look like we did rescue them. They have survived, two of them, so that's good. So that's it for this video, guys. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.